The second vendetta against me was on a property called 120 Collins Street in Brixton. The property was in arrears because of an arbitration case that I went through, and where the new purchaser didn't pay his occupational rental, and that made the property go in arrears. I knew I had to sell this quickly because the bank was going to put it on auction. I sold it to a company called Beer Projects who wanted to put a block of flats on that property. The gentleman couldn't get a bond, and I knew I had to sell it quickly. That price was $950. I then sold it to a cash buyer for $735. That was on the 1st of December 2009. The auction was planned for the 10th. The bank needed the deposit, and we gave them the proof of deposit. Then the bank needed the proof that the client had $735 in his account, and we did show that the client had $3.2 million in his account. The auction was cancelled by Chepu Rapu, a home loans consultant that worked at Diagonal Street. I went to visit my son in Port Alfred, where he was on a flying course. On the 10th, 15 minutes before 10 o'clock, I received a call from Lawrence Mabusa, also home loans consultant, that the auction is going ahead. That was a major shock to me. The auction was cancelled by Chepu. Why are you continuing with this auction? I offered to give the bank $38,000 in cash, which I had with me, and that was in my bank account. I stood outside the FNB branch and was prepared to pay it in. My attorneys also offered 17,000 Rand to pay towards the arrears. Mr. Lawrence Mabusa then said to me, "Mr. Niemand, don't pay a cent into this account. You're going to lose your money." That made it clear to me that FNB will do anything that day so that I lose. The property was sold for $237,237, where I had a purchaser for $735. I lost $505,000 on the auction day. That was my working capital, and I needed that capital to fund a project that I was busy with called the Talking Window. It was at a stage where I needed to finish up with software development. The Talking Window was technology that made window glass interactive. It was new technology. I patented this technology, and it was there for tourism to expose the beauty on their side. I got an investor that would have given us enough money to build 125 machines. The money of 120 Collins, the 500,000, was to finish the software. When the auction happened, I couldn't finish the software. The company that was dealing with this, Hard Drive Solutions, then cancelled our deal, and I couldn't implement 125 machines. That was a major loss to me, millions, after spending years and years developing this technology. In 2010, the bank applied for 4611, the reversal of the auction, because Mr. Perry didn't come up with the guarantees. Mr. Perry has been staying there for 5.5 years, not paying occupation rental to the sheriff or the attorneys van Halsteins, or to me. He hasn't paid water and lights. He hasn't paid rates and taxes. He has connected the electricity illegal. But to come back to the 4611, it should take from January plus minus 2 to 3 months to get the reversal done. The reversal on the auction was on the 10th of June 2010. That meant that I could resell this property and claim and get my money back that I lost. But Mr. Perry went back to court, and that reversal of the 4611 went back to him again, and that he could still reside at the property. Since 2010 and 2013, the bank did nothing to get a 4611 done again. They did do a new application, and the 4611 happened on the 10th of October 2013. I was promised by Van Holstein's attorneys that I would know about this reversal so that I will have approximately 60 days to sell my property. On the 25th of November, this frightening thing happened. Marianne van der Berg phoned me about 5 minutes to 10 on the 25th and said to me, "Mr. Niemand, your property is going back on auction in 5 minutes' time." I was sent by FNB a SMS that said, "Pay your arrears before 9:55 because the auction is 10 o'clock. That SMS I received was 9:54 and 16 seconds. That meant I had plus minus 45 seconds to settle my arrears. I also received from Amelia de Basson an email. The email was sent 9:57. The email stated the same thing: "Please pay your arrears before 9:55, also giving me no time to settle my arrears. That again showed me the vendetta that was against me so that I lose money. At that time, Carte Blanche was busy doing research on what is happening with 120 Collins. They immediately phoned Van Holstein's attorneys, and Mr. Legg, one of their heads, said to Mrs. Christofouro that the auction happened and I was supposed to read about it in the newspaper. It's not their duty to let me know. Is that fair to say something like that? 46 seconds to pay up the arrears, and no one can do that. The property was sold, and can you believe it? It was sold again to Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry, that couldn't come up with guarantees for nearly 4 years, who hasn't paid 1 cent for occupation rent and hasn't paid water and lights. Up to, we are at, in April 2015 now. Mr. Perry is still residing at 120 Collins. Still hasn't paid a cent. Nothing towards water and lights, nothing towards rates and taxes. We've been waiting now 5.5 years for this property to be transferred. I've been receiving SMSs from FNB Bank that they will attach one of my other properties due to the arrears on the 120 Collins. The arrears that has been there made up by Mr. Perry not paying for 5.5 years. It is like being a squatter. Why did FNB not do something about Mr. Perry?